right.
So what's up, man?
Not nothing much, man. Long day at work.
Yeah. This is my buddy. He has a channel called All Time Performance. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. They do all kinds of cool LS stuff, and he has quite the cool car that we had to steal for our camera car in this final video for this. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of introduce him because he helped me out a lot, and you know, his channel is doing pretty good. So
Yep.
You saw this car when I first bought it, right?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, what did you think about it when
I was like, what did you buy, man? The C4s, you know, I didn't really know what to think about them when even with the years of seeing them and stuff, they've never really been my favorite. But I do know that they are starting to become more affordable and are coming around. So I've been keeping my eye on one. And when you were talking about buying one, I was like, that'd be an awesome video to do because these cars are cheap enough to where you can still get into them for a pretty good price and have a well-performing.
Yeah, I mean, this one wasn't, I mean, you know, I didn't like buy the cheapest one when I set out to do it. I wanted to buy like something relatively inexpensive, but mainly what I was looking for was somebody that kind of garage kept one and then just maybe neglected it a little bit, and then it just needed some, you know, refreshing up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I found this. I wasn't really looking for a convertible, but I was looking for a 6-speed, and this just happened to pop up, and I was like, and it had the hard top and a bunch of stuff that came with it, so I was like, why not this? And the wheels, they kind of grew on me after a while. I like the wheels now, kind of.
Yeah, the wheels were definitely, I was like, whoa, what do you got on there, man? But yeah, the 20s look
20s?
good. We were talking about it earlier, maybe some 19s all the way around would look
and
more.
Slammed.
And have it slammed on the ground.
Yeah,
But you've definitely, the interior was my biggest thing when I saw the seats. I was like,
so
whoa.
sad looking.
So if you guys haven't seen the video on the seats, definitely check that one out. The guy that did the interior on this,
he's good.
he did a really good job.
Yeah, it really made the whole thing. And then just ordering like the little things to kind of break up the color combination in there, because it was just so red. It just looked 90s, you know.
Yeah, I was really impressed too the other day when we were filming a little bit and we were driving, and I was in my Corvette and you were still able to keep up with me pretty good. And I have a C7 Corvette, and we were doing some shooting with both cars, and we were back on some back roads, and my car was faster, but you were still able to keep up with me and go through the turns.
Places, I mean, and like I said, my kids had one of these for their first car in high school, and this engine is a lot better than the last one. And this thing fires up every time, but there is something about the C4. There's a lot of car here for, you know, a bargain. You basically have a race car chassis, and it's light
100%.
enough, and you can just, if Chris had it, he would put an LS in it. And,
I'm LS swap everything.
And if I had his money, I would probably do the same. So.
No, but you could put an LS in here for pretty decently cheap.
Yeah, I mean, they are cheap. How much would it cost to, like, LS swap?
It just depends on which route you want to go. If you wanted to go cheap, find a 5.3 at a junkyard and maybe go through it and go through the bottom end, make sure, do a compression check, and then maybe if you can find one with not super high mileage, you know, you could get some use out of it. I mean, you can get a junkyard 5.3 I've seen around $500 to $1,000.
Oh, that's pretty cheap.
So then you got your harness and everything. If you get it from the junkyard, you can take the harness out of the vehicle and just, strip it down and use what you need. Yeah, you use the computer and everything.
That's kind of like your truck is like that.
Yeah, like my truck, it's, I didn't realize how easy it was in my mind. I was thinking all these wires, it's going to be going crazy. I don't know where it's going to go. It's so simple. It's literally, you're getting the harness with the computer, you hook it to the motor. There's like 7 wires that come off the harness to go to your tack, your RPM, your all your basically to work your gauges is it. The motor will run without those 7 wires connected. Well, the 1 wire needs to be connected if you have an automatic to the TCC. But it's fairly simple, man. I really, like, in my head, I always thought it was some big, like, hard thing to do. And then once I owned one and looked at it, I was like, don't get me wrong, it is hard. I mean, you got to have some skill, but it's not, like, super hard.
It's not going to be exactly fun.
Yeah, it's not like building a spaceship or anything, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, there it is. And it was fun to run them down those back roads. I mean, it handles good, dude. Just replacing the shocks on it. I mean, you could go crazy with it and start replacing everything.
We might have to trade keys. I'd like to drive. I've never drove a C4, so we might have to swap keys. I'll let you drive the C7, and then I'll drive this, and we'll see what it really does. But
I like C7s.
Yeah. This has got the LT1, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, that's a good, that is a decent motor for what you're getting. It's not a terrible motor.
Gearbox, that gearbox is really...
That's a win for this car, too. Manual, 6-speed.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, and it starts up every time. It's just nice. The top is in good condition, and the paint was pretty decent.
The interior really blew me away. Because seeing it what it was and then going to what it is now, that was the biggest change in the car. And then Steve detailed it. It's got like a freaking mirror finish on it right now. But I'm like you, the convertible wouldn't have been my first choice, but this car,
Yeah.
If I wanted a convertible and wanted to add something like this to the fleet, I would do it. I mean, it's tastefully done. It's nice.
But I mean, like when I was in high school, the coolest thing ever was when you would see one of these and you lift that fucking hood forward.
Oh yeah, that was
just
cool.
like you could see all the suspension
That is
and
a cool
everything.
feature
I mean,
on the hood. That is, I like how it opens
damn.
up.
You can see the fun wear underneath. So yeah, there it is. It wasn't bad. It was. I think I spent. Let's see. I probably spent $2,500 in parts.
That's not bad.
And you can make it super nice. I mean, the parts are not expensive for it. You invest $2,500 in a car like this, you'll have a nice C4. And my suggestion is just look for one that the weather trim is you know, not all totally beaten to death.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty inexpensive flip, and that's at the end, it's a nice car.
As long as you can make money on it.
Yeah.
You know? I think you got it, and like we've talked before, you make your money on buying a car,
Yeah,
not when you sell
exactly.
it. So you always want to try to work on your negotiation skills when you're going to buy these cars. You know, don't be afraid to haggle on the price and have a plan. Work it over when you're driving there. That's typically what I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a car, I'm already working on things in my head, what I'm going to say, because I've already seen pictures. Kind of have a plan when you go. Don't just go buy a car and just be on a limb. Like, have a plan, have an idea where you want to be price. Well, especially if you're flipping one of these cars, you got to put more thought into it, because you can't just go in there and pay. You know, if you don't have any research, you don't know if you're getting it at a good deal or not. So you definitely need to do your homework.
Yeah, and I think, you know, don't do what I did when I went to look at it. It was nighttime, it was raining, it was like all the wrong things to do. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't go look at a car at nighttime unless the guy's got a nice garage that's lit. Then you could go look at it. Typically, the lights like this really show all the imperfections better than seeing it in the daylight anyway. So, but yeah, don't go in the rain and don't go at night. That's not the best time to buy a car.
And what did you think about the headlights? Because that was my biggest complaint,
Oh,
right from the test
Dude, the
drive.
headlights
they were so bad I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, the headlights you put on this is really cool. Finding headlights for cars that are this old is hard. I had a 99 Trans Am, and I was wanting, you know, I didn't want the just old boring halogen looking bulb. I wanted something that looked good with like the LED. And I looked and looked and looked and came across a video, I believe on YouTube, of a guy that was putting some on a Trans Am that were like the solid housing with the LED bulb in it. Because the old school bulbs, they were like made into the whole headlight.
That's the halogen. This
so you had to like change it out. So it was cool to find something. So there are companies, and that company I believe is, I think it's latemodellighting.com.
Okay.
Something along those lines. I'll look it up and get it for Steve, and you can post it in the bottom. But they
put it on the bottom.
They make late model LEDs for like cars like this, Trans Ams, Camaros, like stuff that is kind of hard to find.
You can kind of see it's crazy. I mean, they're pretty.
Yeah, and they're bright, man. I noticed, dude, and they are.
And
they look cool too.
So much better.
Yeah,
I mean, it was so terrible.
You need to post
drive
a link to that in the bottom, because that's a cool feature.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the stuff that I bought from Amazon, which turned out to probably cost me about $300.
It's crazy, man.
Stuff not fitting, but I mean, you know, you're gonna hit a little negative sometimes. Somewhere.
It's crazy.
But do your research, like he said, and you know.
Exactly. Yeah, and he did his homework on this car. He's gonna make money on this car. We sell cars for a living. We kind of know, man. And this car right here is definitely for the price that you got it and all the things you did to it. And Atlanta's hot right now for car buying, so I don't think you'll have an issue. You just got to find the right buyer that's looking for a Corvette. We're not really in convertible weather, but or season. I mean,
I had the top down today though. It was not bad.
If you go out during the day, I guess it's not too bad. But
yeah, well,
it's definitely made me start looking at C4s a little differently since he's owned one. Yeah, I was like, the C4s are actually pretty cool. They're they're underestimated.
Yeah, they definitely are. I think you do get a lot of car for the money, and they're super low right now. I mean, you know. A lot of people are out there finding some pretty good deals. I know that Rob Pitt's got an 88 anniversary. That's the one with the white Miami Vice steering wheel. It's so funny. But I love those cars too. I love all the C4s, and typically kind of grew up a Mustang guy.
Yeah, that's what you need to get next. We need to get you a Mustang. Have a little competition. I'm a Chevy guy, so.
It would be nice to have a new
67. We could have some face-offs, man. We could have some races or something. Not that I have anything crazy fast, but. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Well, cool.
Yeah,
well,
man.
Thanks for coming on.
Not a problem, man. I appreciate you having me on. Well,
whatever.
With these days, you don't know to shake or fist bump.
Let's do it again.
We're typically hugging, you know.
We'll do the elbow. There you go. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
and
not
thanks
a problem,
for the help.
man. Not a
and
problem.
we'll have to, if you haven't checked out his channel, check it out. He has some really cool stuff on just
Yeah,
like,
we do
do-it-yourself
videos.
stuff?
We do more videos like when I buy a car, like I've got a truck and I'm going to do stuff to it. I just video like kind of my process of doing it, what part I'm putting on there, and typically try to do some sort of review after I put it on, how it drives, how it's performing, stuff like that. So if you're a car guy and you like kind of working on your own stuff and do it yourself, it's a good channel to watch. You can learn a little bit and follow the builds. So that's basically about it.
Yeah.
But
And he has the coolest camera car ever, and it's over there in the corner.
yeah,
The
and
C4.
also my brother, he's also a part of the channel, so don't be confused if you get on there and you see a guy with tattoos and crazy looking. That's my brother. He lives in Nashville, and we kind of joined the channel, and then I had to move. So it was kind of like we just, instead of like starting 2 new channels, we just kind of like split videos. But he's got some cool rides
Yeah,
too.
he's got a badass Camaro that if you haven't seen, you have to check it out. That
He's got a 3rd gen, so he's got a really nice 3rd gen Camaro, so you can check that out. He's got a few videos on there of that, but just the gifs of the channel.
These guys would LS swap a lawnmower, I'm telling you.
Yeah, definitely.
I bet he already has an LS swapped lawnmower, probably.
My blender has an LS 4.8. Yep. Blend some margaritas with that, man.
Yeah, I bet. Well, thanks again, and thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Sounds true.